But to other matters, and fracking at the country's only active shale gas site halted for a third time by what's reported as the largest tremor there. I speak of a 1.1 magnitude tremor at the site in Little Plumpton in Lancashire, the strongest since work began just 2 weeks ago. There were two events, or movements, I should say, of 0.8 on Friday and on Saturday, and now we're at a 1.1. It's worth saying that has to be put in context. There was a 3.9 magnitude earthquake in Grimsby earlier this year, and nobody really got hurt. Nothing really happened. So is it that concerning? Barbara Richardson is a spokesperson for Frack Free Lancashire. Pretty minor stuff, but how concerned are you, Barbara Richardson? Good morning.
It's not minor stuff at all. This is actually very, very concerning. The issue is not the impact on the surface. These are man-made earthquakes, which actually are 2 kilometres down, but could actually have the impact of damaging the well itself. And the reason the government set the traffic light limits as they are were to make sure that there would be no damage to the well casings and no migration of fluids into pre-existing faults.
Right. So as I'm sorry to talk about, as Cuadrilla says, they halt. They do necessary security checks. They make sure everything's okay, and then they proceed again. So that's okay, isn't it?
Not really, because A, how do we know that those checks are accurate? 18 hours is not long enough to do thorough checking of the well bore to make sure that it is safe. And the whole point of this is they're increasing in magnitude, they're increasing in frequency, and in the whole of the 5 months at Priest-Hall, where they had the major earthquake, which did damage the well, there weren't as many minor quakes then. So, there's a lot more earthquakes happening, a lot more tremors happening, and they're increasing in magnitude day by day.
I hear you, and obviously it's a concern, but we need to keep this in perspective because these are very... Fortunately, no one is getting hurt.
We say nobody's getting hurt, but how do we know what the damage is being caused under the ground? This needs to be stopped until the experts, we've got the expert geophysicists and people who can inspect the well integrity, that they're absolutely convinced that no damage is being done and that no damage will be done in the future. So
once their inspection is completed and they're okay, you're happy for it to continue?
Not at the moment, because bear in mind, Cuadrilla are only fracking, doing one frack per day on this well, and they're proceeding cautiously, which means that the pressure, the volume of the fluid are probably quite low. Imagine what the impacts will be once they start doing 5 fracks a day, once there's thousands of wells being drilled across the country. Who's going to monitor that? And, who's going to be looking at the implications of that if it moves into a full-scale production scenario?
But it's been used in parts of the United States, and fortunately it's not caused issues there.
Oh, but it has, and that's the whole point. Well, it's caused a lot of issues in a lot of states. In Pennsylvania, in Ohio, they've got earthquakes. They've actually got scientific evidence of water pollution that is linked to this. And all I'm saying at the end of the day is we should be proceeding with extreme caution, and that we need experts who know what they're talking about, who will look at this, experts without vested interests, who will look at this as independent assessors and ensure that if this is going to go ahead, there are no risks to our water and to our air. Remember, these limits were set by a committee of experts, Green, Stiles and Bapty, for good reason. And I'll quote you what they actually said in their report was, we consider the maximum magnitude threshold of the original one, which was 1.7, for the proposed traffic light system is undesirably high from the viewpoint of prudent conduct of future operations, and this is why we recommend a lower limit of 0.5 magnitude. And they're the experts. Yes.
And that's where we are at the moment, isn't it? A 0.5 means fracking has to be temporarily stopped and restricted.
That's an amber, but that's a red, and they have to assess the implications.
Okay. Is the local opposition still as keen, still as strong as it was?
More so, to be quite honest with you, quite frankly. I mean, I'm a local resident, obviously, and there is a lot of concern about what the issues and what this actually means. In fact, it's quite unprecedented at the moment, the amount of concern. I'm getting phone calls from people in the area saying, what can be done? It needs to be stopped. We don't feel that confident in what's going on.
Thank you for that, Barbara Richardson. You're with Frack Free Lancashire. Fracking at this time suspended at that Cuadrilla site.